What is up, everyone? My name is Andre, also known as @TheTrailTrek on Instagram. I'm coming at you guys with a new video, this time a 1-month review of the Ironman ATS kit. As you guys saw in the video before this, I was pulling out a Ford F-150 STX 4x4. It got stuck and the Ironman kit really handled well and let me pull it out. I want to go through some positives, some negatives, and just talk about the kit in general. We already went through the install in the last video, but I really hope you guys enjoy this, and here we go. So let's get into the general overview of the kit. So the Ironman ATS kit is a pre-assembled coilover kit. So what does that mean exactly? You are going to get everything you need to put 2 inches, whether it be in your Outback, your Forester, or your Crosstrek. It's that easy. So just some background on my end, I come from a 1-inch spring lift on an OEM strut. So this was a complete change both in the strut aspect and the spring aspect, and I'm super happy about that. Another spec about it is at the front you're getting 170 pound-inch spring rate, and in the rear you're getting 200, so you're getting that extra spring rate in the rear to handle that overload, which is super awesome to take into account. The kit itself, like I said, comes assembled and it's super easy to install, as you guys saw in my install video, but overall 10 out of 10 build quality. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's talk pros and cons. So the first point, the install. Again, you guys have seen, or I hope you've seen, my install video, and you could see how seamless it was. The biggest part that I took my time with was the torque specs. I really wanted to get that in, but the install itself was super easy, and that's what makes this even easier to do. Going forward is the handling, and that's one point that I really want to talk about. So on to one of the most important parts of this whole thing, the handling. Handling, in my opinion, went up. I'm gonna insert a picture of my car somewhere here so you guys can see how weighted down it is. I have the rear bumper, the Prince rack, the Roam tent, everything is on there. And again, after I installed the ATS kit, handling went up. I don't have a rear sway bar to give me the extra articulation. I broke it on the trail, how ironic. Anyway, point is that on road and off road, I'm getting the response I need and the extra handling needed to account for that weight. And that's something that was a worry for me at the beginning, but it's crazy really how much better the ride quality feels, as well as how sturdy it feels on quick adjustments that I make on the road as well as off the road. And that's one thing that Dirtfish really talked about in their first review of the ATS kit, is they went over how good it responded, how good it handled, and that's one thing that I'm vouching for 100%. The handling with the Ironman ATS kit went up, and I'm sure that's the case for many. So you guys saw that bad quality video of us mobbing through Big Bear. In that specific video, we were going about 35 to 40 miles per hour, and the car was handling beautifully. Behind us, we had a TRD off-road Tacoma, and it was handling way worse than we were. They were talking about how much good articulation we had, how the response was being handled, and anything we really put at the vehicle, it was responding beautifully. We had articulation to go over those big obstacles we needed. We had the dampening needed to get the speed that we wanted to get. Everything really in the off-road side of things really performed amazing, and I really wish I could have showed you guys how awesome the struts look in the back. Speaking about the struts, since the struts have a bigger diameter, you're able to get a lot more fluid in there, which in turn gives it a colder operating temperature, and you're not going to get any overheating from pushing it a lot. So off-road wise, 10 out of 10, and the same thing for on-road, and that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit. Just want to show you guys, here we have the 1-inch, the other side the 2 inches already on. It's crazy the difference, but so from tire to here we're looking at 5.5 inches of clearance, and then I want to show you guys ground clearance to the lowest spot, if you will. So we're looking at about what, 1 foot-ish, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, 1 foot, 1.5 feet. So how did the car actually settle? As you guys saw in that little snippet I took, we were reporting that at the front, front driver's side tire, we were reporting 5 inches in between the top of the tire the top of the wheel well. Then going down to under the door, we were looking at about a foot and half an inch, which is like, it's awesome, almost 14 inches of clearance. So just going from how much clearance the car had originally stock, which is about 8.9 inches if I recall correctly, going to about 13 to be conservative, you're looking at a 5-inch, 4-inch increase in lift, and that's with an ATR Milestar tire, which is an all-terrain tire, which gave me about 1 inch, I believe, as well as the 2 inches. That whole combination in turn was giving me about 4 to 5 inches in extra clearance in the front. Now, going to the rear, as you guys have seen, I have a lot of weight. Regardless though, the Ironman kit has held up really well. I don't have any more rubbing on my rear bumper, which is an issue that I had been having unless I'm mobbing like crazy. But no rubbing issues that I used to have with the 1-inch kit. So it's really responded well, and I think that's definitely due to the spring rates. The rear has a 200 pound-inch spring rate, and the front has a 107 pound-inch spring rate. So obviously the front isn't going to have as much weight on it, but it's still enough to hold where it is, and the rear as well. I mean, those extra 30 pound-inches are to kind of give you the overload, if you will, and I've surpassed that a bit, so obviously it is going to have a little bit of sag due to the amount of weight I have, but if you don't have that set up, more than enough will be held up. Overall, I'm really happy with how it settled. I was also kind of scared, like, hey, you know, it's really good on the first day and it looks super tall, but it actually settled really well, and when I look at the car from the side, I'm really impressed with it. So definitely good on the settling side of things. So let's talk about one issue that I get asked a lot about, actually. How easy is it to align back to OEM spec? So with the Subaru and just the Crosstrek in general on the off-road use, I recommend aligning back to the OEM spec. So how feasible is that with the Ironman ATS kit? Super easy. So tracking back, the reason I went with the 1-inch spring lift originally with the OEM struts is because, one, I did not want to use top hat spacers because it makes no sense to stick a piece of metal in between what's dampening and what you're trying to dampen. And two, the alignment spec. With the OEM setup that I had with the spring, I was able to get back to alignment, and the same thing with the Ironman ATS kit. I was able to get back to my OEM alignment with the 2 inches that I had in, and I'm really happy that I was able to do that. So enough about the good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about what I didn't like and things that I think could be improved on. So what don't I like about the Ironman ATS kit, and what do I think could be improved on? I have come to the conclusion that there's 2 things that I think that could be improved on, and in all reality, I think that could be solved really easily. So number 1, this one you can't really solve that easily because you're limited. So I get the question all the time, hey, can I throw a top hat spacer in on top of the 2 inches that the ATS kit gives me? The quick answer is no, you cannot, and that's kind of a downside to certain people, you know? People want to be able to put in those 2 inches and then put another 2 inches on top to get 4-inch lift, you know? And it's definitely a thing that I thought about, but I personally do not think that you should be doing that. There's 2 reasons why. Number 1, safety is one thing that needs to be paramount to everything, and number 2, the CV axle angle. If you're actually running too much angle on your CVs, you're just going to go through them like nothing. So I really recommend not putting top hat spacers on the ATS kit. And reading it back to myself, I don't know if it's really a negative or something that could be improved on, but more of a safety feature that Ironman incorporated. So the final improvement, if you even want to call it that, I'm reading these back to myself and I'm like, well, that's an easy fix. But anyway, I have been told, hey, you know, can I intermix the ATS parts with other manufacturers? And the answer is no. The ATS kit is made to work in unison to give you the best ride quality possible. So when you look at, hey, I want to use this spring with that strut or whatever, Ironman doesn't give you that option. That could be a negative to some people. But in all reality, I'm really leaning towards the fact that it's not, because it's your one-stop shop at the end of the day. And again, the ATS kit really is designed to all work together. So I do not think it's in anyone's best interest to intermix parts which in turn could mess something up. So definitely recommend sticking to that one company, which is Ironman 4x4 America and their ATS kit. So that is that. Those are my points, but I do want to leave you guys with 4 more points that I really think will just encompass the kit in general. Number 1, my handling went up, and I'm sure yours will too. Number 2, the quality to price ratio is something that cannot be beat. You're looking at an MSRP of $12.99 for subframe spacers and a full 2-inch lift through coilover suspension. Number 3 is definitely the time of the install. As you guys can see, it's super easy to plug in. And number 4, Ironman is an all-in-one shop. Everything you need is at one location, making things super easy for you to do. So definitely check out the ATS kit. I thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave down a comment in the comment section below if you think this new format is good. I'm really enjoying it, but obviously I want to see what you guys think. Again, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, enjoy, and if you have any questions regarding anything build-wise, Ironman-wise, comment me, DM me, whatever it is, I'll make sure to answer. Have a great day, and